Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's Friday. It's about 3:40 Central Standard Time. And thought I was going to get on here at 3 o'clock. And hey, it's 3:40. I'm here. And I wanted to, I made a post this morning that said, I want to talk today about expansion. If you are here and this is your first time, let me know in the comments so I can greet you. If you're catching the replay, let me know too, so that I know that you were here. If you find that you came to this live stream and while you were here, you were able to extract value from what I shared, and that value created a shift in your perception, then I encourage you to share this live stream. If you're here live, let me know that you're here. Tell me where you're watching from. And if you're catching the replay, still share this live stream with someone. Okay? There are no coincidences in our lives. You are watching this live stream because something about me is magnetizing. The title of this live stream is magnetizing, or you were just meant to watch this. And I also believe that there are no opportunities presented before you that are not meant for you to explore. If an opportunity is before you, money is not an issue, even if it appears that money is the issue. If an opportunity is before you, it is because it is meant for you to explore it, take advantage of it. If a door is open, it's because it is meant for you to walk through. So, I wanted to just have a very candid conversation about a conversation that I had with my son this morning. And he's 33. And he recently experienced a breakup. And during that breakup, he was emotionally, he was heartbroken. He was very emotional. It's not something that he wanted. And during the last month, as he has put his feet on the ground and realized, wow, I was blind to some of these behaviors. I was blind to the things that were blatantly in front of my face in the name of love. But why in the name of love? What were things about him that allowed him to stay in the dark about seeing those things? What was it about the way he believes about himself? What was it about his self-belief or self-worth that kept him with the blinders on? And as soon as that relationship ended, he took action. Okay, so the topic of this discussion is expansion. And even when you don't realize you're being expanded, you're being expanded. By the time you realize what expansion is, you're already in full force. Okay, this is why you may be buying the books. You may be listening to the affirmations. You may be writing in the journals. You may be listening to the subliminals. You may be attending the conferences. And you may be saying to yourself, I don't get it. But the truth is that those seeds were germinating. Those seeds were dropped into your soul, and your soul is fertile ground. And those seeds are giving a harvest. But where else have you seen that you plant a tomato today and you have tomatoes tomorrow? It doesn't happen. Where else have you seen that you put money today in the bank and tomorrow you have 10 years worth of interest accrued? No, 10 years have to pass. You don't get tomatoes right away after planting them. And that's what I want to talk about today. So as he was going through his heartache, he had me to coach him through, to open up his eyes, to say the difficult things that were difficult for him to hear from a loving place, from his mom, not from a judgmental place. And this boy literally was just like growing by the day. In his job, which he has been at for years, he has a hourly rate plus commission when he sells out in the field. And during the time that he's been an employee there, he was still selling more than some of the people on the sales team, but he had never made a sale like a $26,000 sale. Actually, no one in the company has done a $26,000 sale. And immediately on the heels of coming out of this devastating heartache, he goes to work and he closes that $26,000 sale. And he closes another $4,000 sale. And he closes another $6,000 sale. And it creates this belief in him. Oh my God. And I'm going to get 10% of that on top of my check. This is amazing. And it ruffles feathers of the people at his job. And people start to ask for clarification. I need a sales order. I need the contract. Did you do this? Did you do that? Why didn't you call us? Why didn't you do this? Like nobody was having any problems being average until he started to shine. And as he started to shine, he didn't realize that the shining was coming from his evolution into expansion. He no longer thinks like he used to think a month ago. And he would call me and share, Mom, I just did an install. He installs soft water systems. He goes, Mom, I just did an install at this, retired, Major League Baseball player's house. Mom, they are so cool. Mom, I just did an install at this very famous doctor. Mom, they are so cool. He told me I could go hang out with them whenever we want. Mom, I just did an install for this famous lawyer. He told me he wants to meet me at whatever. I just had an install at someone's house. They said to me that they'd rather do business with me. It doesn't matter where I go. Please reach back out to them if I ever need a letter of recommendation. Mom, these are like Navy admirals, somebody who ran a whole ship. Like I have these people's numbers in my phone. Mom, I know where they live. I have been invited. Mom, they don't treat me like I'm beneath them, because they don't. Son, you have learned to take people off pedestals. So you're no longer intimidated by their title. And because you're not intimidated by their title, because you know that you have a service that can help them, they love for people to treat them just like people. They love for you to look out for them. They love for you to say, hey, here's what you got to do to be able to take care of this system. Hey, here's my number. And so I want you to ask yourself right now, I don't care if you work in a hospital. I don't care what kind of business you do. Look in your phone contacts right now. Look through your phone contacts and say, how many people do I have access to right now? It could be your boss. It could be the CEO of your company. It could be, I don't know who you have access to in your phone, who lives a life that you are imagining. You know that it's real because you know this person there in your phone. But in your wildest dreams, you're like, man, I can't even believe this person in my phone. Is there a millionaire in your phone right now? Is there 2 millionaires? Well, are there 2 millionaires? Are there a few millionaires in your phone contacts right now? Are there, halflionaires? Are there people who make multiple six figures with their own business in your phone? Are there people who have their own business who you admire greatly? Again, it could be your boss. Are there people that own multiple investment properties? Are there people who sit on the board at your job? Do you have your CEO's number? Who is in your phone that you are in proximity to? I want to tell you that I want to create a shift in your awareness right now. There's a reason why I'm speaking very paused and I'm taking my time to drop this message. Hey, from Ohio. What's up, mommy? How are you? I love you, Dr. Alex. Who is in your phone right now? You have access to these people. You are in proximity to someone who you have not allowed yourself to be expanded by, but they're in your phone. And I'm sure they may have even told you, hey, whatever you need, don't hesitate to call me. Hey, if you ever need a letter of recommendation, do not hesitate to call me. Hey, let me know if there's anything I can ever do for you. I'm so grateful for the service you provide. I'm so grateful. Let me know if you ever don't work here anymore. Let me know how I can help you, how I can open a door for you. They've said that, and you thought to yourself that they're just saying that because it's niceties. It's just something nice to say in conversation. And they're just saying that because it's the right thing to say. But they never said that to you because it was the right thing to say. They really mean it. And your own thoughts about yourself, your self-worth, why would I call them for? I don't have anything to say. We're not on the same level. I don't make the kind of money that they make. I don't live in a gated community like they do. I live in this apartment. Man, I don't drive, the kind of car that they drive. Hell, they have like 6 cars. I barely can afford to pay this one. I'm going to give you a story because this conversation right now reminded me of a story. I was married. My children were little. I was not the Linda Hales that's talking to you right now. I was what I like to say, a basic bitch. And I was married. My ex-husband was a cop, and took on an extra job to make extra money. Those are called off-duty jobs. So he took a job directing traffic at the convention center that weekend. There were plenty of conventions in Orlando that weekend. And a man in an Aston Martin pulled up to the 7-Eleven where my ex-husband was buying his coffee or whatever he was there to buy. When my ex-husband came out of the store, he told the gentleman getting out of the Aston Martin, "Oh my God, I love your Aston Martin. It's a Vantage. I love the Vantage. I love the DB9." And the guy was an older white gentleman. He said to my ex-husband, "Do you love my car? Sit in it. Sit in it." And so he sat in it, and he admired the car, and then he got out of the car. And the guy gave my ex-husband his business card, and he said, "Do you have a business card?" And my ex-husband pulled out a generic business card from the sheriff's office and wrote his building address and gave him his personal, line at the sheriff's office. That was that. And weeks later, my ex-husband came home with a book. It was delivered to his job from the gentleman. He was a Canadian entrepreneur, and he owned a chain of McDonald's restaurants in Canada, and he was the first person to take McDonald's to Russia, and he wrote a book called To Russia with Fries. I'm never going to forget it. And he sent my ex-husband that book, and in the book he sent a personal note, and it said something like, "Hey, it was a pleasure to meet you. Please, if you ever need anything, let me know what I can do for you, how I can connect you." I never even looked up this book until I remembered it right now. His name is George Cohen. That's it. Yep. George Cohen. Yep. That's the name of the gentleman. Oh my God. I just Googled it. And I said to my ex-husband, "Oh my God." I was doing Mary Kay at the time. And I was like, "Oh my God. Like, you need to stay in contact with that man. You literally met this man he sent my ex-husband this book, To Russia with Fries. Get out of here." And so this gentleman, my ex-husband met him, and he was enamored by his Aston Martin. And my ex-husband did not realize, I know that today, I know that right now as I'm talking to you, my ex-husband didn't realize that he was in proximity to this man, a powerful multimillionaire CEO. So because he didn't realize it, when we were moving, this book, which had this man's signature in it and his personal business card, I threw it away. Man, if I wasn't having this conversation, I would have never even remembered. Let me tell you something. I just realized this right now. This conversation is not for you. It's for me. Who is in your phone that because of the way you think about yourself, you have not said, "I have access"? Proximity is power. You have not perceived who's in the room. You've literally sat at the foot of the master, like they say in church, and didn't realize that he was the master. Like the disciples walked with Jesus. If you're a Christian and you believe that Jesus walked the earth, the disciples rocked with Jesus, and many of them did not believe that he was the Messiah, let alone the people that he preached to. So my son gets paid today, a fat paycheck, because he got 10% of those sales plus his regular paycheck. And I said to him, listen to this, man, this is going to be powerful. I said, son, you are making payments on your phone to your cell phone company. You know, most people that have a brand new phone did not pay it cash. Most people have a phone and they're making payments on top of the cell phone plan that they have with their company. I know that because that was me up until last year or 2 years ago. Okay? And I said to my son, I know what you're feeling. I've never gotten a paycheck of this amount. I want this money in my bank account. I know what you're thinking. I want this money in my bank account. I've never seen this much money in my bank account. Take money from that check and walk into the AT&T store and pay off your phone. Next week when you get paid, because he made a whole nother slew of multiple 5 figures of sales. Next week, walk into the AT&T store and pay off your Apple Watch. I said, here's what's going to happen when you do that. You're going to step into expansion. I'm like, up until right now that we're having this conversation, son, this was me this morning in my bed. I hadn't even brushed my teeth. And I had this conversation with him. I said, poor people, they work to pay bills. Poor people, they finance their phone. Even though it's zero finance, they have a fat bill for a cell phone bill every month because they cannot afford to buy the phone outright. That is the middle class mindset. The middle class and the poor people. We're not talking about impoverished people. We're talking about poor people. People who work check to check are part of the middle class, and they have zero wealth built unless they're relying on a 401k that they may or may not have. The average person doesn't have any real estate or any homes that they own or anything like that. So I'm talking to the people that can relate to that. And I said to him, so the average person, when you're poor and you have money, you want to have it sitting in your account, or you're like, oh, let me pay off this credit card. I'm like, that's what poor people do. They work to get money to pay bills. This is not my own. I heard this a while back and I just heard it again recently. Someone sent it to me in a TikTok reel. Middle class people, okay, the high end of the middle class people, they work to buy shit on credit that they can't afford. So they're in debt with their credit cards. So poor people work to pay bills. The high end middle class, the higher end of the middle class, they work to buy shit on credit that they cannot afford to live beyond their means. That's why 95% of the middle class is one paycheck away from bankruptcy. And then rich people, they work so that they can put their money to work for them so that they can become wealthy people. I said, when you're poor, you look at the money in your bank account and you're like, I want it to stay here. I don't want it. But the truth is, it's not going to stay there. You've actually had that kind of money in your bank account before and it never stayed there. So take the money, pay off the phone. And next week, when you pay off your watch, you're going to see how amazing it is to just have a cell phone bill for the service and not a cell phone bill plus an Apple Watch plus a cell phone that you're financing for what? Why would you want a $280 bill every month for what? Step into expansion. When you release that money, you'll know that the same way that I made this money, I'm going to make more money again, because money is always available to me. Money is renewable. I said, you got out of that relationship. You were giving all of your energy, the energetic, where your mindset was, the frequency that you were on was in worry and concern. That relationship was draining you. That relationship got out of the way, even though you didn't want to, even though you experienced heartache, and you were able to get on another frequency, and you've never made as many sales as you have. And he's continuing to knock it out the park. It's ruffling feathers on inside of the sales team. He's out in the field. It's ruffling feathers in the sales team. And everyone's starting to nitpick. And I said, Giovanni, when you start to shine, you don't take any shine away from anybody. But the other people that you trigger is because they feel dull, because your light is shining bright. And now it exposes that they're not even doing the work they're supposed to be doing. You don't even work in the sales team. You work out in the field. And no one in the history of that company has ever made as many sales as you and as consistent as you. It's not your fault that you're awesome. It's not your fault, right? That your awesomeness triggers people's inadequacies and lack of performance. When you shine in the world, it's a mirror for everyone else's not shining. It's a mirror for everyone else. And that's where that haters come from. Instead of saying, holy shit, I'm friends with Giovanni. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to take him out to lunch. And I'm going to ask him to tell me, how do I close sales like him? People in the office joke, damn, man, I know you're making all that money. When you taking me out to lunch? And he's like, Mom, they say it jokingly, but it's not a joke. I said, tell them that lunch is for closers. If they close sales like you, they can come to lunch with you. They got to earn having lunch with you, boy. Because you got to earn to be in these spaces. If you want to be around the proximity of power, you've got to pay to be around that space. You can step into expansion with this conversation that I am having with you right now. I literally have these type of elevating conversations with my clients. My cleaning lady was here today. We were talking about whatever we were talking. My apartment has never been so dusty and so messy as it was today. I've been traveling nonstop since October. I travel for a week, come back, my suitcase is on the living room floor. I just leave it there, wash the clothes, put something else in there. Like there's been a suitcase in my living room since October. I just pushed it aside for Christmas when I had people here. So I was like, normally she just comes here. My place is super straight. There's no clutter, but today there was shit everywhere. And I was like, you're going to earn your money today, girl. And so we were talking in the kitchen. I was putting stuff to wash. She was mopping the floor. And we were just talking. And she was wiping down my countertops. And she said, she's an older woman, a woman of color. And she said, money is not happiness. And I said, that's bullshit. I said, I want you to walk away from my home today, never repeating that stupid phrase again. I want you. Thank you, Catherine. And green is your honey. Yes. Thank you. I'm loving the green. All sorts of shades of it. Thank you. Plus is money green, money green. And I said to her, when you leave my house today, I want you to leave here never repeating that phrase. It's stupid. I said, you learned it from your upbringing. You learned it from be humble, don't brag, don't ask for too much. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to want all that money because, being rich is a sin. Hoarding money, having money is sinful because it's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to walk through the gates of heaven. all that biblical stuff that people twisted out of proportion. I said to her, money is happiness. And she said, money can't buy happiness, Linda. There's a lot of people with money that are very sad and depressed. I said they would be sad and depressed if they were poor too. Sadness and depression, it has nothing to do with money. If you're going to be plenty of rich people have killed themselves. Kate Spade, Robin Williams, right? We know this. And I said to her, but you've never gone to Balenciaga and bought you a $6,000 purse that you wanted. I promise you, if you do, you will be happy as hell walking out of that store. If your son wants a $2,000 watch, a $3,000 thing, a $4,000 hobby, a particular school that he wants to go to, and because of your money, he can attend, because the only way he will attend that school is because of money. When you are able to provide this for your son, there is no amount of money that you can put a price tag on the feeling of happiness on your freaking face, the smile from ear to ear, to see your son happy at the school that he wants to go to buy your son the thing for his particular hobby. Money gives you choices. Whoever thinks that money doesn't buy happiness has not bought their favorite thing that they couldn't buy before because they didn't have any money. Because poverty cannot buy shit. When you are able with your money to do something for someone else, it doesn't have to be expensive. The feeling that you get when you get someone something that they wanted, when you give a thoughtful gift, when you were like, you know what, Linda's AirPods, one of them works and the other one doesn't, and she told me that. And then you get the AirPods and you this is not an expensive gift. And I'm like, oh my God, one AirPod hasn't worked for a while and I just haven't had the chance to go. And you say, I know, but I know that you use your AirPods to work. I know that you like your AirPods, and I like seeing you with your AirPods. So I thought of you and I bought you these AirPods. Thank you. The feeling of fulfillment that you get from seeing that reaction from me is happiness. So I said to her, those ideas of be humble, as if humbleness is equivalent to poverty. You learn that from your childhood. You learn that from that awful marriage that you were in. You learn that from whatever. I said, you're going to leave this house and you're not going to think this ever again. And she was like, I love coming here. Every time I leave, I learn so much from you. My hairdresser tells me, Linda, if you ever don't have money to pay for your hair, I don't care. You can always sit in my chair because you don't know how you changed my life. I don't have these conversations with anybody because as we're sitting there talking, I'm like, oh, hell no. Look at this. Look at this reframe. My hairdresser is my age. She's Hispanic. Hispanic women are taught that we need a man. Like we're not as valuable if there's not a man on our arm. Like we need a man. I said to her, why do you need a man? Tell me why you want one. I was like, tell me why you want one. Do you know how many things I need and I don't have in this house because I haven't wanted them? This is Texas. It rains a lot here. And I was just telling someone that I give this example to my daughter. I don't own rain boots. Even though I need rain boots, I don't want them. So it's okay for you to want a man. I want a man. Then what kind of man do you want? I want a man that this, that. I envision. And you get to create the exact thing that you want. Once you've been exposed to this way of thinking, it is different than the average folks. Successful people think differently than the majority of the population. Last night on a live stream, I jokingly said, but it's not a joke because I've thought about this and I know I'm about to say it right now and it will trigger all the Christian people. I said, success is like a religion. Every religion requires that you do something. Christianity, for instance, requires that you accept Jesus as your Savior, declare Him as your Lord and Savior, and get baptized. Because they believe that when you come back from that water, the old man is dead and a rebirth of the new man is coming out from the water. That's what you got to do if you want to be a Christian. If you want to be a Jehovah's Witness, then I don't know what Jehovah's Witnesses think, like, because I've never been a Jehovah's Witness, but Jehovah is their prophet or their God, or I don't know if they want to focus on the Old Testament more than the New Testament, but Jesus was in the New Testament, Jehovah was in the Old Testament, but they are Jehovah's Witnesses. So if you're going to be a Jehovah's Witness, you got to witness. You got to go door to door. You've got to send emails. You've got to spread the gospel. If you're a Seventh-day Adventist, then you have to be cool with Helen White and whatever else they do, and you go to church on Saturdays and not on Sundays. If you're a Mormon, they got the whole Mormon rules. Every religion has things that they require of you in order for you to say, I am a Mormon, I am a Buddhist, I practice Islam. Then you're going to wear long sleeves and you're going to cover your face and you're going to cover your ankles and every part of your body. You're not going to eat pork, right? I am a Christian. I am a Jehovah's Witness. Every religion requires things from you. And I believe success should be a religion. It'll require that you let go of stupid shit that you believe that it's not even yours. It's your parents' limitations. It's dumb shit that you had from your upbringing. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose where you were going to be raised. You didn't choose what religion they were going to teach you. You didn't choose anything. You didn't choose where you were going to go to school. You went to school based on where your parents had a house or where they had the apartment, and that dictated what district, and that district dictated the teachers there, because that district dictates a particular salary. And when you are exposed to people who make a certain amount of money, they're either going to talk to you with limitations or they're going to talk to you with abundance and stretching and richness. And this is why private education, people pay and sacrifice to send their children to private education, because they don't want their children in the regular, curriculum of education. And other people don't want private education or public education. They're like, I'm going to homeschool my kids because any education that I send my kids to is going to be indoctrinating them into a particular belief system that I don't want for my children. So that is, to me, success is a religion. You must denounce. You've got to let go of limiting beliefs. You've got to start questioning the thing that you've been scared to question. Well, I don't want to question my mom. If I do that, then she's going to feel like I am disrespecting her or I'm disrespecting the culture. So you grew up and you married whoever your parents wanted you to marry. Because, the guy that you really loved, he was a musician in a band in high school, and he was everything that you couldn't bring around the house, or you're Indian and you better not marry outside of the race, or you're whatever you are, you're Puerto Rican, or you're Asian. And here we are as full adults perpetuating, living a life. And oftentimes you're like, I'm not feeling fulfilled. I know you're not. You're not even living the life of your dreams. So, in my joke about success being a religion, I've been saying this for 2 years. This is the part that's going to trigger the Christian folks. I've been saying that I want to baptize my clients at a live event into success. I want them to get dunked in the water and leave the basic bitch mindset in the water and arise from the water as a new woman. Because I work with clients who make a lot of money. and they still deal with a lot of things that they don't feel safe sharing anywhere else. A lot of things that affect everybody else. It's just that they've been able to win at what they do. So money is not a thing. But the other things that we struggle with, dysfunctional relationships, lack of boundary setting, saying what we want without feeling guilty, asking exactly for what we want without feeling guilty about it, knowing that you are worthy and deserving of the exact thing that's in your mind, knowing that you can get married again, or you can date again, or you can actually stop this dysfunctional, painful relationship that you've been in forever. You can put boundaries around your adult kids. You can stop sleeping with a married man, right? Like that. Baptized, rebuking the basic bitch mindset off of your life in the name of success. I think success should be a religion. If you believed that success was a religion and that you'd have to accept certain beliefs, I think you would be able to find the transformation faster than you have found it to be. You can accelerate time if you just believe success is a religion. I got to accept these new beliefs. I got to get baptized and let go of my basic mindset. You can step into expansion. So I was telling my son, when you go pay off this cell phone and this watch, you will step into abundance. You will step into abundance. Success is your duty. I believe the more you earn, the more impact you can make. Yeah. I love Grant Cardone. He says that success is your duty, your responsibility. And so I said to my son, when you release the money and you pay off that phone and you pay off that watch, you will step into abundance. You will step into a place where you know there's no lack. Because the reason you want to hang on to the money and keep it in your bank account is because it's coming from a place of lack. But if you go pay off your phone, knowing that you are fully supported, that money is a resource that is renewable. You know so because you've never made these many sales back to back to back, week after week, week after week. You're in the zone. And that zone is not called flow from a spiritual mumbo jumbo name. You can Google what being in flow is. It is an actual state of mind. When you are in flow, you're in the zone. And it feels like there's all these coincidences. It feels like no. It's no coincidences. You are in flow. It's an actual state. Google it when you get off of this. Look, I always joke, but it's not a joke. I didn't go to a 3-week school to get a certification in this. I have a degree in psychology and human behavior. If you watch my live streams, you watch me break down the psychology. When a client of mine says something, when someone does something, I'm like, and here's exactly what's happening right now. That's my expertise. So I'm not telling you because it sounds good from some spiritual woo-woo place, flow. Flow is a state, an actual psychological thing. Go Google it. Plenty of research has been done on it and plenty of books have been written on flow states. That's all I have. That's all I have. Is it all I have? No. I want to share this because it happened to me in January, right now, this month. This is how I stepped into expansion. So at the beginning of the year, I went to an event. It was $6,000 for 4 days. I bought that ticket in July. So I made that decision last year. But because I waited till January, because, the event wasn't until January, I kind of forgot about it. And when I went there, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this was $6,000 as I got there. But the moment I got there, everything was elevated. It was a 4-day retreat for powerful women, and everything about the retreat was just so elevated. And I went there knowing that the following weekend would be my own retreat that we had already planned, me and my event coordinator. And then I come off the heels of that. At the end of that event, the mentor who put together the event, she sold a new offer for next year, for next January, to be in the room outside of the country. She said it's going to be about an 11 to 12-hour flight, depending on when you're coming from. So it's going to require that you hop on a plane. It's going to require that you stay outside of the country for 5 days. And it's a $12,000 investment if you take action now. VIP is $12K. I was like, I can't believe I paid $6,000 for 4 days. Now I'm about to pay $12K for 5 days. What? But I did, because I saw the value of being in a place with 30 powerful women who all have different businesses at different income levels. Nobody was bragging about what they do and how they do it. Nobody had to drop, I made this much money in my business, I made that much money. It wasn't about that. It was a safe space for powerful women to come together and network. Coming off the heels of that, $6,000 for the weekend, $12,000 for the following year. And then I have an opportunity to pay $5,000 for one day event in Orlando, Florida in a few weeks. If you had asked me in December, Linda, would you pay $5,000 to go spend one day? I'd be like, you crazy as hell, man. That's wild. $5,000 for one day? What are they going to teach me there? But I have expanded since the beginning of January, and I understand the value of being in the room that other woman is creating for one day in Orlando, Florida. I will be in the room. That's expansion. All of my profits and then some. January is in the red. All of the money that I've made in January and then some has been fully invested back into my business. I know where I'm going this year. It will require elevation. It will require expansion. You can't expand by yourself. You can't expand watching YouTube videos. You can't expand watching all the live streams that you want to watch. You must understand that if you want to convert to the religion of success, that you're going to have to take risks. You need to go read my post that I wrote today with before and afters of me and my kids. And future self. I wrote how 2023 me was coaching 2012 me the whole time. And it required that I invest money that I didn't have. It required that I make investments not knowing what the end result was. Because when I did that, I learned to trust myself. And a lot of people are not willing to pay the money because they know, like, I don't do anything. Someone in the DM told me that I want to work with you, but I'm currently working with a coach. I've been working with her for a whole year, and I don't even do the things that she's asking me to do. And I said, fire that person. How? You've been working with her for a year? Girl, bye. I said, you will not waste my time once, let alone 12 months. See, I'm not a coach. I am a mentor, and I am a mind surgeon. I'm not a coach. You will not be wasting my time. I said, and the reason it's very expensive to work with me, it's because your fee to work with me, that investment that you will make, is your guarantee that you will get results, which is why my testimonial page is off the charts. You're not going to be the only person that works with me and doesn't get results. No. When you join the religion of success, you will know that you've got to make moves that stretch you, because the only guarantee is what you're going to do. And then you begin to trust yourself. That's how I've expanded already this month. I have been evolving. Catherine Robinson, if you're still here, thank you for being here. I don't know you personally, but we've chatted in the DM. I have never sold Catherine Robinson anything. And Catherine Robinson, there's something about me that is attractive to her and magnetic. And Catherine Robinson, even though she doesn't know me in person or in real life, she has seen a very palpable, a very real evolution. I love you, Catherine. She has seen an evolution because you want to know what? You need to be the example for your prospects and your clients. People will automatically come and pay you one day because you have been leading by example consistently for years and they have watched you go from one place to another and it is not fake and they've got to get in the room because they've been watching you since it was $3,000 to work with you, since it was $8,000 to work with you, since it was 10, since it was 12, since it was 15, since it was 30, since it was 50. And they see that it is not fake. And you can't possibly be the only person make that kind of money. They can too. So I'm going to close out with this. When I make an invitation for you to be with me in person in the room, I will be dropping an invitation. We are planning a trip to Dubai. It is for 6 and 7 figure business owners only. It is not a fake marketing. If you're not making 6 figures, you'll not be able to come to Dubai, and that's okay. You'll come one day. But there will be other offers for lack of a better phrase, like a group VIP days. Because a VIP day of mine is $20,000. But if I do a group VIP day, then everybody can pay $5,000 to be in the room and get their entire business restructured, their offers, everything. Switch from the kind of business model that you have now to a premium one like mine. There's a lot of ways to make money in this internet space, in the personal and business transformation space. You get to choose which way you want to make the money. So I will be making invitations. And when I make an invitation for you to be in the room with me, when you say yes, you will be so glad that you did. And when you say no, you will wish that you had. You will wish that you had. Dubai, Alex. So that's that. Now I'm complete. Now I am done. Almost an hour-long live stream. Share this live stream. There are people who need to hear it. And if you resonate with it in any way or shape or form, and you're like, Linda, it's time for us to work together, then send me a DM. I don't do douchey sales or anything, but I'm going to powerfully say to you, I know that working with me will shift your business and your life. What are you waiting for? Book a call with me. Let's go. So that's that. I love you. I appreciate you for being here with me, giving me your time on a Friday evening. Now I'm going to get off here and I need to head somewhere and meet my videographer. So let me know if you have any questions or any comments. I appreciate you for being here today. Have a great weekend.